So children, today we are going to start the first lesson in grammar from the grammar text, the sentence. You might have studied what a sentence is. When will you say a sentence to others? When you want to convey something, you say something. But the other person should be able to understand you properly. For that, what should you do? You should use the words properly so that it makes a complete sense. So, a sentence is a group of words that make complete sense. So, see the heading sentence. We use words to express our thoughts and feelings when we want to say something to others. Be it a poem or be it prose, when you want to express your thought, you have to express it in such a way that the other person understands it better. What is there in your mind? So these words are arranged in groups and some of these groups make complete sense. Remember, sentence is a group of words that make complete sense. Sentence is a group of words that make complete sense. Arranged in groups makes complete sense. Sentence expresses your thoughts and feelings. It's arranged in groups. It makes complete sense. Sentence is a group of words that make complete sense. So see the grammar, examples given under sentence. Goa has fine beaches. Goa has fine beaches. When did you go to Goa? Goa has fine beaches, and there you put a full stop. Okay? There you put a full stop. So remember, a sentence begins with a capital letter. It can end in a full stop. A sentence begins with a capital letter. It can end in a question mark. A sentence begins with a capital letter. It can end in an exclamation mark. So a group of words that make complete sense is called a sentence. A sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, a question mark, or a mark of exclamation. It's a group of words that expresses your complete thought. So see the examples given. Goa has fine beaches. Full stop. Goa is the name of a place and you have to use capital letter as it comes at the beginning of the sentence. When did you go to Goa? It's again a question asked. Then how beautiful the sunset scene was. So much beauty was there in the sunset scene and the speaker is expressing his thought, what is there in his mind. And so it is a strong emotion that is expressed and you have to use an exclamation mark. Understood? So I'll read out once again. We use words to express our thoughts and feelings, what is there in our mind, and these words are arranged in groups and it makes a complete sense. A sentence is a group of words that make a complete sense. So children, have you all understood what a sentence is? We use words to express our thoughts and feelings. These words are arranged in groups. Some of these groups make complete sense. So, a sentence begins with a capital letter, ends with a full stop, a question mark, or a mark of exclamation. Remember to put this, punctuating the sentence, otherwise the sentence is not complete. The next one you're going to study is the phrase. So what is a phrase? What makes it different from a sentence? Some group of words make sense but not complete sense. Some group of words make sense but not complete sense. It makes some sense when you read that. When somebody says a phrase, you can understand something, but it is not complete like a sentence. It is a group of words that make sense but not complete sense. For example, at night. So when you are asked a question, when did you go? You just say at night. I went at night. That is a sentence. Whereas if you say at night, the other person can understand what you mean. So at night conveys something, but it is not a complete sentence. It's not complete in its sense. So at night, in the park, of great importance, joys and sorrows, must have verified. A group of words that make sense but not complete sense is called a phrase. So the difference between a phrase and a sentence is that a sentence is a group of words that make complete sense, whereas a phrase is a group of words that make sense but not complete sense. It's not complete like a sentence. Every group of words cannot be called a phrase. A phrase must make some sense. For example, has fine. Can you understand? Can you understand something from this? Has fine. You can't understand anything. Why? Because it doesn't make sense. So it cannot be called a phrase. Has fine is not a phrase. But whereas fine beaches, you can understand something from that. It makes some sense. So it can be called a phrase. So a phrase should make some sense. Only then it can be called a phrase. Has fine is not a phrase because it doesn't make any sense. Whereas fine beaches is a phrase because it makes sense. So every group of words cannot be called a phrase. A phrase must make some sense. Remember, examples you remember. Has fine cannot be called a phrase because it doesn't make any sense. Whereas fine beaches can be called a phrase because it makes sense. There must be a verb in a sentence. There may or may not be a verb in a phrase. What is a verb, children? Verb is an action word or a doing word. So a verb will be, there will be a subject in a sentence, there will be a verb and there will be an object in a sentence. Whereas in a phrase, there may or may not be a verb. Remember, verb is action word or doing word. A verb is always present in a sentence, but whereas in a phrase, it may or may not be present. Now, there is exercise 1 given in your text. There is one exercise 1. Speak out sentences using the following phrases. Speak out sentences. Few phrases are given there. You are asked to make sentences using the phrases. First of all, you have to take dictionary. I hope all are having a dictionary at home. Or you can Google it and find out the meaning of these phrases and make your own sentences. Try making your own sentences. You may come up with errors and all, it is okay. So try to make your own sentences. You can take someone's help also if you need, but make your own sentences. Speak out sentences using the following phrases. Few phrases are given there. You are asked to make sentences using the phrase given. That is homework. Exercise 1 is homework. Mark that. Exercise 1, make sentences, is homework. You can make your own sentences. Submit it only next week. You can take enough time. Think and write sentences using the following phrases given. Now, exercise 2. Rewrite the following passage using capital letters and putting in full stops wherever necessary. Remember, a sentence begins with capital letters. You have to punctuate capital letters, putting in full stops wherever necessary. So, rewrite the following passage. A passage is given. Can you see that exercise 2? Rewriting a passage. You have to write in your notebook, the passage, your English notebook. Write the heading, the chapter 1 from grammar, the sentence, and write exercise 1. Make sentences, and exercise 2, rewrite the following passage. You have to write the passage once again using capital letters and putting in full stops wherever necessary. Wherever necessary. Okay, so exercise 1 and 2, homework. Now, let us move on to kinds of sentences. Kinds of sentences. So just now we have learned what a sentence is. A sentence is a group of words that make complete sense. It begins with a capital letter, ends in a full stop, question mark, or a mark of exclamation. There are 4 kinds of sentences. Remember, there are 4 kinds of sentences. There are 4 kinds of sentences. 4 kinds of sentences, children. The first one is assertive or declarative. State something. When you say your name, my name is Alex. It's assertive or declarative. You are stating something. So assertive sentence. Number 1. There are 4 kinds of sentences I told. First one is assertive or declarative. It ends in a full stop. Starts with a capital letter, ends in a full stop. Assertive. You are stating something. You are declaring something. You are asserting something. Next one, interrogative. Interrogative asks a question. It's a question sentence. So remember, number 1 under kinds of sentences is assertive. Number 2, Number 1 is assertive. Number 2 is interrogative, asks a question. Number 3 is imperative, expresses a command. Close the window, it's a command. Then a request, please give me your pen, a request. And advice. During Corona time, you are asked to stay safe at home, it's an advice. Stay home, stay safe, advice. Then exclamatory sentence, expresses a strong emotion. What a beautiful dress are you wearing? What a beautiful face you have. What a beautiful red rose. So expresses a strong emotion and it ends in exclamation mark. Understood? So sentences are of 4 kinds: assertive or declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. So remember, assertive or declarative, it states something. Interrogative, it asks a question. Remember, like this, interrogative means question. Then imperative expresses a command, request or advice. And exclamatory expresses a strong emotion. So there are 4 kinds of sentences. 1 is assertive or declarative, 2 is interrogative, 3 is imperative, and 4th one is exclamatory, expresses a strong emotion. Now let us go on to details of assertive sentence. Number 1, it states something. An assertive or declarative sentence says or states something. So Tansen was a great musician, very old musician. Tansen was one of the 9 gems in the court of Akbar. 9 gems in the court of Akbar. So that is a statement. That is a declaration. That is an assertive sentence. Understood? States something. Tansen was one of the 9 gems in the court of Akbar. Begins with a capital letter, ends in a full stop. That states something. So it's called an assertive sentence. He was born in 1506 at Bahat in Gwalior. So he was born in this year at Bahat in Gwalior. Again, it is a statement, declares something, asserts something. So an assertive sentence declares something or states something. There is again a subdivision in assertive sentence. Affirmative or negative. Affirmative means positive. When you say she is tall, it is positive. So what is the negative of that? She is not tall. So remember, assertive or declarative sentence, that is the first one in kinds of sentence. Under that comes affirmative and positive. With affirmative, you don't use not, whereas with negative, you use not. Understood? If not or no comes in a sentence, it is a negative sentence. So, first kinds of sentences, the first one is assertive or declarative sentence. It states something. Under that comes affirmative or positive. The second one is interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence, I told you already, it asks a question. How did Tansen become such a great singer? You are asking a question. So it begins with a capital letter and ends in a question mark. So it is called a question sentence or an interrogative sentence. So you can see that how did Tansen become such a great singer? You are asking. It's called interrogative sentence because it starts with capital letter and ends with question mark. Did he create any new ragas? You are asking again. Did Tansen create any new ragas? So it is again interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence again has subdivision, yes or no question or WH question. So if I ask you, were you absent yesterday? Were you absent yesterday, Rida? Then Rida will answer, no teacher, I was not absent. Why? Why does he answer like that? Because it is the teacher expects yes or no answer. So Rida can say, no teacher, I was not absent, I was present. Were you absent yesterday? Then WH question, why were you absent yesterday? Then again I ask, why were you? The reason I want to know. Why were you absent yesterday? I was absent yesterday because I had to go to my grandma's place. You can answer. So interrogative sentence again has got subdivision, yes or no question and WH question. You can either ask a question using expecting a yes or no answer or a WH question. Remember this? Yes or no, WH question. Okay. Now let us go on to the next one, imperative sentence. Imperative sentence expresses a command. It's an order. Close the window. It's a command given by the teacher to one of the students. Close the window. A request. Can you give me your pen, please? It's a request. Remember to use please with the request. You are asking, you are just pleading. You are requesting to the person to give you something. Or an advice. I told already, stay safe and all. Then download some information about Tansen from the internet. If I ask you to download some information about Tansen, the musician, from the internet, it is a command given by the teacher. You have no other option but to obey the teacher. Tell me something about ragas, please. As I have used the word please, it's a request. Develop some taste for classical music. The teacher asked the student to develop some taste for classical music as he sings very well. So it's an advice given by the teacher. So imperative sentences expresses a command, makes a request, gives some advice. Example, expressing a command, go away. If I ask you to go away, it is a command. You have to obey. Makes a request, please close the window. Please close the window. It's a request as I have used please. Then give some advice. Always remain cool. Stay home. Stay safe. It's again a piece of advice. Now let us go on to exclamatory sentences. An exclamatory sentence expresses some strong feeling or emotion. Okay. When you want to express the strong emotion that is there in your heart, that is inside you, you have to express it. Otherwise, how will the other person know what emotion have you conveyed? So what a great singer Tansen was. If I say that, that means that Tansen was a very great singer, and I am expressing my emotion. After reading about Tansen, after studying about Tansen, I want to exclaim what a great singer he was. So I have used capital letter, and at the end of the sentence I have put exclamation mark. Only then the readers come to know what I have meant. Okay, how rich the tradition of Indian classical music is. Indian classical music has got a very good tradition, rich tradition. And so how rich the tradition of Indian classical music is. Again I have used a capital letter and an exclamation mark. So remember, there are 4 kinds of sentences: assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. Assertive sentence ends in full stop. Interrogative sentence ends in question mark. Exclamatory sentence ends in exclamation mark. Remember? So 3 exercises. The answers for 3 exercises, I will send it to you. You have to write that in the notebook. Not only that, what I have asked you to write as homework also should be written in your notebook. Write the heading, the sentence, chapter 1 sentence, and write the answers. Now next is transformation of sentence. Transformation of sentences. How can you change transformation of sentence? Transformation of sentences. Interchanging exclamatory and assertive sentences. Exclamatory sentences are spoken under the impact of strong emotions. You express a strong emotion through an exclamatory sentence. Their word order is slightly different from that of assertive sentences. Whereas in assertive sentence, you are stating something. You want to declare something. You want to assert something. In an exclamatory sentence, you want to express a very strong emotion. So you express the sentence in a different way. So you use certain words with that. That is what, how, oh and all you can use. What, how, oh and all you can use. What, how, oh, and then exclamation mark. Understood? Now see, what a lovely dress. So what you have to use, and a or an you have to use. Then remember, lovely. Lovely is an adjective. You are describing the dress. Lovely dress. Dress is a noun and you are describing the noun dress with the word lovely. So describing word is called an adjective. And then again a noun. Dress is a noun. So remember this order. You have to use what, a or an, adjective and the noun. Another example is what a delicious soup. What, a or an, delicious is adjective, soup is noun. So remember this word order, what plus a or an plus adjective plus noun. It is an exclamatory sentence. Then, how kind of you. How kind of you. How plus kind, adjective of you. Then, how politely she spoke. See children, here the writer has used how plus an adverb plus here pronoun, then spoke, verb. Politely is an adverb. What is an adverb? A word that tells us more about a verb. A word that tells us more about a verb. How an action is done. How did she speak? She spoke politely. The way she spoke, politely. So remember, adverbs always ends in ly. Adverbs always ends in ly. Politely. Understood? So how politely she spoke, exclamation mark. So these are the examples of exclamatory sentences. To change an exclamatory sentence into assertive sentence, restore the original word. So if you want to say, what a delicious soup, that is an exclamatory sentence. If you want to change it into assertive, what you should do that? You have to write, it is a delicious soup. It is a delicious soup. When you change it into exclamatory, you have to use the word what. What a delicious soup and then exclamation mark. Here it is written question mark. It is wrong. It is exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. So restore the original word order. Add a word to suggest the initial force of the sentence. It is a delicious soup or the soup is delicious. Replace the exclamation mark with a full stop. When you change exclamatory sentence into assertive sentence, there is no need of exclamation mark. You need to put a full stop. For example, what a comment. This is an exclamatory sentence. What a comment. It can be a good comment or it can be a bad comment, a negative comment. What a comment. So you have to, when you restore the originality of the sentence, you have to write, it is a strange comment, it is an excellent comment, it is an extraordinary comment. You have changed the exclamatory sentence into assertive. Then, how unfortunate. When you change it into assertive, you have to write, it is very unfortunate. So remember, I'll read out once again, interchanging exclamatory and assertive sentences. Exclamatory sentences are spoken under the impact of strong emotion. When you change that into assertive sentence, the word order should be slightly different. We have to take away that what, how and all and restore the original form, original word order. Add a word to suggest the initial force of the sentence and replace the exclamation mark with a full stop. Remember this, sir. See? Remember this. To change an exclamatory sentence into assertive sentence, restore the original word, add a word to suggest the initial force of the sentence, replace the exclamation mark with a full stop. Remember, these are the rules. You are asked to do few exercises at the end of this. So, write A as for assertive, IN for interrogative, IM for imperative and EX for exclamatory sentences. That is given in your text. Exercise 3. Answers I have written here. The first one is exclamatory. The first one is exclamatory. The second one is interrogative. Are you marking? Exercise 3. First one is exclamatory. Second one is interrogative. Third one is assertive. Fourth one is imperative. expresses a command or order. You can see the sentence. The fifth one is interrogative. The sixth one is imperative. And the seventh one again is imperative. Children, check your answers. Exclamatory, interrogative, assertive, imperative, expresses a command or order, interrogative, fifth one is interrogative, sixth one is imperative, and seventh one again is imperative. Go through the rules once again and read the sentence. Understood? Eighth one is exclamatory. Eighth answer is exclamatory. Have you all marked? Hope you all have marked the answers. Now, there is one last exercise. Exercise 4. Rewrite the following groups of words as sentences. The kind of sentence to be formed is mentioned in the bracket. The first word of the sentence is underlined. So, you are asked to rewrite the following group of words as sentences. You have to rearrange the words, groups of words, into sentences, and you have to write what kind of sentence. Just now you have learned what are assertive sentences, what are statements, what are exclamations, what are question sentences, what are commands, all that. So now Edison's inventions include the gramophone and the electric lamp. The answer to the first question is, I have rearranged the sentence. Edison's inventions include the gramophone and the electric lamp. It's a statement. You have to write in bracket. What kind of sentence is that? Statement. Edison's inventions include the gramophone and the electric lamp. The second answer is, he invented the gramophones at the age of only 31. Again, it is a statement. He invented the gramophones at the age of only 31. Or you can write, at the age of only 31, he invented the gramophones. Both ways you can write. It's again a statement. Then, later, third answer. Later, he invented the electric bulb also. It's again a statement. Later, he invented the electric bulb also. Fourth answer. One of his first jobs was to improve the gramophone invented by Graham Bell. One of his first jobs was to improve the gramophone invented by Graham Bell. It's again a statement. Now let us go on to the fifth answer. A company called Western Union paid him $100,000 for it. I'll repeat. A company called Western Union paid him $100,000 for it. Statement. He had to carry out a good 6,000 tests to make electric bulb. Again a statement. He had to carry out a good 6,000 tests to make electric bulb. Again statement. Next, see the seventh answer. How much patience it must have needed. So you are expressing your strong emotion, how much patience he might have had in order to conduct those tests. He failed many a times, finally succeeded. So how much patience it must have needed. Exclamation mark. So exclamatory sentence. And the last answer. Try to get inspiration from the life of Edison. When you are expressing, when you are asking someone to do something, it's a command. When you are requesting someone for something, it's a request. When you give a piece of advice, it is an advice. So try to get inspiration from the life of Edison. It's a command as well as an advice. So write command. Try to get inspiration from the life of Edison. The teacher commands. So that is the end of the chapter. So remember to write answers to exercise 1, make sentences, exercise 2, 3, 4 and 5. 4 exercises are there, okay? 5 exercises are there. So shall we read the rules once again? The sentence, we use words to express our thoughts and feelings. These words are arranged in groups. Some of these words make complete sense. So remember, sentence is a group of words that make complete sense. A sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, a question mark or a mark of exclamation. Now about the phrase, some group of words make sense but not complete sense. Such group of words that make sense but not complete sense is called a phrase. A phrase may or may not have a verb, whereas a sentence must have a verb. Now the kinds of sentences. There are 4 kinds of sentences. Assertive or declarative, that states something. Interrogative, that asks a question. Imperative, it expresses a command, request or advice. And exclamatory sentence expresses a strong emotion. Remember to put capital letter, full stop, question mark or a mark of exclamation after sentence. Now let us see what is assertive sentence. An assertive or declarative sentence says or states something. Example, Tansen was one of the 9 gems in the court of Akbar. Starts in capital letter, ends in full stop. Assertive sentence again has got its subdivision, affirmative or negative. Affirmative sentences are positive sentences, whereas negative sentences have not in them. She is not taught. Affirmative sentence, she is taught. Positive sentence. Negative sentence, she is not taught. Next one, interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence always asks a question, begins with capital letter, ends in question mark. How did Tansen become such a great singer? Capital letter and question mark. An interrogative sentence again has got subdivision, yes or no question or WH question. For yes or no question, you need to answer yes or no. Whereas in a WH question, you have to use why, when, who, all that. Now, imperative sentences. An imperative sentence expresses a command, asks a request, or makes an advice, gives an advice, gives a piece of advice, makes a command, asks a request, gives a piece of advice. Download some information about Tansen from the internet. It's a command given by the teacher. Tell me something about ragas, please. As the word please is used, it's a request. Develop some taste for classical music. It's a piece of advice given by the speaker. Develop some taste for classical music, advice. Now, exclamatory sentence. An exclamatory sentence expresses some strong feeling or emotion. Now, transformation. How to change exclamatory sentence to assertive sentence. Remember, when you change an exclamatory sentence into assertive, you have to restore the original word order, take away the exclamation mark, add a word to suggest the initial force of the sentence and replace the exclamation mark with a full stop. So when you write, what a delicious soup, it is an exclamatory sentence. When you change that into an assertive sentence, it is a delicious soup, or the soup is delicious, and full stop. So I hope you all have understood this chapter. Read it once again, read the rules once again, try to do all the exercises. I will send the answers through your WhatsApp group.